Well, here in the Northern Hemisphere, it's midsummer, and I have not had nearly as much time at the workbench as I thought I would. But I thought I would check in and show you some of the progress and new inspiration I've been having to let you know what to look forward to on the channel. So let's jump into it. Starting off with the SU-76 kit from Tamiya. So most of the work I've done is behind the running gear. This time I decided to use pigments and pigment fixer to get some results. I'm okay happy with it. I think I'm going to try and use a lot of oils here to mix in and blend, but as far as the pigments are, they're not exactly the color that I want them to be, and then I'm having a hard time getting the oils to blend with them. So I'm going to work on that a little bit. I also put everything back together. That's what I'm showing you now. Some things are still broken, but I actually glued everything together. I decided to stop using subsections. Now for something completely different. This is a kit that I built almost 13 years ago. It is not done, as you can see. It's a pretty good kit. It's from Dragon. It's a late model Tiger 1. With the Zimmerit molded on. But it has some upgraded parts, engine cover. I modified the fenders, and it has some interesting things here. But it only came with a little bit of track for the turret, and the other track was rubber band track. Actually, it sat around so long that rubber band cracked, and I had to buy new ones, except I bought the early ones. I don't know why. But these tracks are really good quality, but there's just not enough of them. Plus they're a little tedious. You can see here you have to kind of put them all together. So I decided to 3D print my own. And I thought this would be kind of an interesting way to show you the process I use when I prototype tracks and parts. So first of all, I have the track that I want to replicate, and you can see there are the grooves in it for the late model track. And so that's my first try, basically just getting the basic shape down, making sure it's the right size and that it fits everything. But you can see here, it's missing a little bit of detail that I didn't really capture, and it's a little off in the size. So I'm going to rework that. You can see the difference, and they don't fit. So I went back through and I reworked the sketch so that they would fit. So this is the second print, and you can see it compared to the first print. The spacing in between, I believe that's so dirt and mud can get through and doesn't bind up the tracks. And then you can see where the pin goes. There was some detail missing there. After that, I made sure that they fit together properly, which they do a little bit, but they don't sit perfectly. And I really want to make sure that standard 24 gauge wire fits. I've been using this other 24 gauge wire. It says it's 24 gauge. It's slightly off. It's slightly smaller, but even this didn't work. But I didn't want to waste just this and make it hard for just anyone to use 24 gauge wire. So I wanted to get the standard 24 gauge wire to work. So I oversized the holes, which I think they fit for scale, but they are definitely larger than I've ever done them before. And on these large tracks, you have no problem with that because there's plenty of space. You can kind of see here the difference between the holes. It's tough to see it this small. I don't know why it's not focusing, but you can clearly see the holes are much larger on the newer part. And these, of course, fit together just fine. I did a little bit more adjusting to make sure that worked. And then printed out a bunch, show you how flexible they are. And I was really happy with that. But the next thing you have to do is make sure that it fits. Now, luckily, I did make sure these fit during the first iteration, and I made some changes there because that would be even more changes you would have to do So something to think about if you're going to try and design tracks and 3D print them yourself. Just make sure they fit everything. And, you know, it's important to kind of do it for the kit that you are working on. Just want to make sure the teeth fit with everything, all the road wheels, because this is a little bit more complicated of a suspension, but you can see there's plenty of clearance. Here's some other stuff I 3D printed a little while ago. I'm not sure if I'm going to put this up for sale on the Etsy store, but that's a little rat trap and a electric meter for a house. Made this in a couple of parts so you could print that and then print a clear cap for it if you wanted to. Didn't really work out the way I thought. This is an air conditioning unit. All of these are just things that I took pictures of that are in my neighborhood. So I guess this would be the American versions of things. Not tons of stuff set in the American theater, modern theater, but if you're into something like that, I could put these on the store. But I was pretty proud of these prints, good clearance and a lot of detail. Next, I got these mission model paints. I just got the primer and thinner. I was originally going to not base coat this. I think I mentioned that. I was just going to use the green from the kit and then use oils, but that did not go as planned. But I do have this Gundam robot guy that I really want to practice adding detail to with some scribing tools that I just picked up. And I thought that would be kind of cool just to oil this since the plastic is already the right color. So I want to add some detail with scribing and then add that. These are the figures that go with the SU-76. And I printed this cool bust that I found somewhere a while ago. And I don't know if you can still print this, but I printed that out to practice on for my figures. So these are the kits that I have. I've gotten from my kids and picked up myself the last few holidays and things. But this is kind of what's waiting in the wings. This is a cool set. A lot of cool detail on that. I got these troops. This not that impressive of a set figure-wise, but I got that to go with the ambulance behind it, which is very cool. And that has full interior. It doesn't have any figures with it, I don't believe. So there's this, and I wanted to kind of show a scene with some life. But you can see full interior for the cab and the ambulance itself, and engine, magic track, the whole thing. So that is going to be quite the build. A lot of little pieces there, but kind of exciting. This I just got for Father's Day. I definitely have a type with artillery lately, but I just love this kind of look, and with the plow to help with the recoil. And there's some cool stuff we can do with that. So I'm excited about that. Then that also came with the rubber band track, however, which I think is fine for the kit itself, but I wasn't happy with it. So I printed new tracks for this. This I probably won't put for sale just because I don't think there's much of a draw for that. But I did make these, and I was pretty happy with how these came out. I hate gluing rubber band track together, and I hate painting it, and I don't think there's any way to keep the paint from falling off eventually, so I try to avoid it whenever possible. But I was happy with that. We still have the Churchill, and if you remember, I made the tracks for that as well. So there are going to be new tracks for that when we get around to that. And then some aircraft. So again, this is not the best kit in the world, but I really want to practice scribing. It's one of those skills that I just I'm not that confident with. Plus, there's a lot of great walkarounds where I can improve this kit immensely. So I'm excited about that. And this kit I'm very excited about. I want to paint this as the first Air Force One, which is now sitting in a boneyard with great paint. If you like weathered paint, it's going to be just so much fun to paint. So that's the plan for that, with some 3D printed extras for the rotors and interior. But that's going to be another ambitious kit. All right, so that's going to do it for this little check-in. I know this is a little bit different from all the other styles of videos I've done, but I really wanted to kind of cater this towards the subscribers and the fans. You know, this is not my full-time job, and I really appreciate you guys that follow and you know, comment and like and all that. So I just wanted to check in. I know I've been super busy, but didn't want to leave you hanging. And like I said, that little SU-76 is back on the bench and being worked on as we speak. So there should be another video on that pretty soon. So hang in there. And then we're going to switch it up a little bit, and we're going to have some fun. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. See ya.